Welcome one and all to the online learning platform at Department of Civil Engineering, PMS Institute of Technology and Management, Bangalore. I am Dr. Rajesh Gopinath and you are along with me for the course Environmental Protection and Management. For a small change, this lesson for today will be engaged by a student. Today's presentation is on the topic Aspect Impact Studies. Let me elucidate to you the importance of why a student is taking this class rather than a faculty. 4 students from 2016 batch of Department of Civil Engineering, namely Ms. Vijeyta, Ms. Diksha, Ms. Zubaini and Ms. Chandana, had undertaken a project on environmental management system at BEG Private Limited. As a part of their project, they had carried out detailed studies for aspect impact at BEG Private Limited, and consequently their knowledge which they had gained upon while attending a course on EMS under my mentorship and of Mr. Fanindra, who is based in BEG Private Limited. Subsequently, as a part of experiential training, as a part of experiential learning, the knowledge that they have possessed in aspect impact studies is much beyond that the knowledge which was transferred to them from textbook materials or as part of the curriculum or as part of within syllabus restrictions. Hence, I deemed it is more important that you all also should have more enhanced information and knowledge with industrial relevance and examples. Hence, this presentation is being engaged by the students. The presentation has been prepared by all the 4 students, has been checked by me, and the lecture is being taken by Ms. Vijeyta. I wish her and all of you the best with this lesson.
Hello everyone, I am a final year civil engineering student of 2016 batch. I was a part of a group of 4 who had the opportunity to carry out our final year project at GEBE Private Limited, Bangalore. A part of our project was Aspect Impact Study. Moving on to slide 5. Aspect Impact Study or Analysis. Aspect Impact Study is one of the most important component of environmental management system. It is used as a tool in the planning phase in the PDCA Plan Do Check Act concept of ISO 14001 framework. What is an environmental aspect or simply aspect? According to ISO 14001, it is the element of an organization's activities, products or services that interact or can interact with the environment. What is an environmental impact? According to ISO 14001, it is described as a change to the environment, whether adverse or beneficial, wholly or partially, resulting from an organization's environmental aspect. As a simple example to understand aspect impact better, consider an activity of housekeeping. Based on the definition of aspect, the aspect for this activity of housekeeping would be generation of wastewater. Now, the impact this wastewater would cause on the environment would be water pollution. Therefore, we can say that for the activity of housekeeping, the aspect would be generation of wastewater and the impact would be water pollution. Moving on to the next slide, slide 6. Identifying environmental aspects. While identifying an environmental aspect, one should take into account whether the aspect, that is activity, product or service of the industry, causes and produces air emission, effluent discharge, waste generation like solid waste, hazardous waste, etc., land contamination, or simply uses amounts of resources, large amounts or small amounts like water, fuel, natural resource, etc. In most cases, these can be controlled by the company by minimizing the amounts produced and by adhering to the rules and regulations laid out by the environmental standard boards of the government. There are few other aspects over which the company will have complete control and influence. Those would be 1. Product design, alteration in the design so as to extend the life of the product and making it eco-friendly. 2. Packaging. The packaging material used can be kept to a minimum or can be recycled and reused to save material resources and energy. 3. Performance. Handling of goods and materials on site by contractors and employees should be kept in check. And 4. Land use. Improvement and maintenance of biodiversity and wildlife of the area and site. Moving on to the next slide, slide 7. Environmental impact is a change to the environment resulting from the organization's aspect. The environmental impact can be divided into 3 types for better understanding. 1. The impacts associated with inputs, which is extraction of raw materials and energy from the environment. When this is not carried out by adhering to the guidelines, it causes an adverse effect on the environment like land degradation, depletion of natural resources, etc. 2. Impacts associated with outputs. They are the impacts that are caused during production, that is pollution to the environment through air emissions, wastewater discharge, solid waste generation, etc. And 3. Impact associated with on-site activities and processes. These are the impacts that are caused during storage, cleaning, assembly, and packaging. They can cause pollution in case of storage and cleaning if not done properly, and loss of material and resources in case of assembly and packaging when they are not carried out as per norms. Moving on to the next slide, slide 8. Some examples on environmental aspect and impact. Example 1. Activity is use of chemicals for wastewater treatment in STP, sewage treatment plant. The aspect is generation of used chemical containers, and the impact for this would be land contamination. Example 2. The activity is storage of chemicals. The aspect for this is chemical spills, and the impact would be land or water contamination. Example 3. The activity is housekeeping, for which the aspect is generation of wastewater, and the impact would be water pollution. Example 4. Painting using oil-based paints and solvents. The aspect for this would be consumption of paint and thinner. The impact would be resource depletion. And another aspect for the same would be emission of fumes and solvents in the air, for which the impact would be air pollution. Moving on to the next slide, slide 9. The significance of conducting aspect impact study analysis for an organization would help the organization to find and identify non-regulated issues, areas of non-conformance, and find solutions to these, and thereby apply corrective and preventive measures. It would help the organization to improve or redesign its operations such that leads to no damage or impact is caused to the environment during operation, and also helps the organization to determine the severity of the actual and potential threat a particular activity can have on the environment, hence making for proactive planning. Moving on to the next slide, slide 10. The procedure for aspect impact analysis. A suggested approach to determine aspects and impacts according to their significance includes the following 5 steps. Step 1. Identifying activities, component processes, and products under all applicable conditions. Step 2. Determining their environmental aspects. Step 3. Determining the impact of these aspects. Step 4. Assessing the significance of these impacts. Step 5. Ranking the impacts according to their significance. Moving on to the next slide, slide 11. This slide shows a typical example of an aspect impact table. Here, the first column shows serial number, the next column shows operations or processes. Operations or processes depict the area where the aspect impact is conducted. The next column shows activity. Activity depicts the action that is carried out in the operation or process. The next column shows aspect. Aspect is the element that interacts with the environment. The next column shows N or A or E, where N stands for normal condition or routine condition, A stands for abnormal condition or non-routine condition, example a breakdown, and E stands for emergency condition or foreseeable potential emergency. The next column shows impact. Impact depicts a change in the environment that has been caused by the aspect. The next column shows RSP. RSP stands for resource saving potential, which depicts whether the aspect can reduce the amount of natural resource used or not. The next column shows LR. LR stands for legal requirement. Suppose the industry uses some chemicals that need legal requirement, then it is to be mentioned in this column. The type of chemicals that need legal requirement would be those that are toxic. Moving on to the next column, which is rating. The first component of rating is scale, SCL. It depicts the extent of spread of impact. If extent of spread of impact is within the work area, then it is rated as 2. If the extent of spread of impact is within the premises, it is rated as 3. And if the extent of spread of the impact is out of the premises, then it is rated as 4. The second part of rating column would be SEV, severity. It depicts the severity of the impact. Suppose the impact on the environment, that is the severity of the impact on the environment is low, then it is considered and rated as 2. If the severity of impact on the environment is medium, then it is rated as 3. And if there is high impact on the environment, then it is rated as 4. The next column in rating is POC. POC stands for probability of occurrence. If the probability of occurrence is once a week, then it is considered to be low and it is rated as 2. If the probability of occurrence is once a day, it is considered as medium and rated as 3. And if the probability of occurrence is once a shift, then it is considered as high and rated as 4. The last but one column under rating is D, which stands for duration of aspect. The duration through the day the aspect is working. If the aspect runs for 4 hours a day, then it is rated as 2. If the aspect runs for 8 hours a day, then it is rated as 3. And if the aspect runs for more than 8 hours a day, then it is rated as 4. Finally, the last column of the rating is rating itself. Rating is the product of scale, SCL, severity, SEV, probability of occurrence, POC, and duration, D. If the product is less or equal to 32, then it is considered as non-significant. If the product is greater than 32, then it is considered as significant. And in case the significant aspects are more, then the company will have to develop measures in order to eliminate or reduce those particular aspects that are significant. The next column shows significant or non-significant or PI. Here, significant depicts significant aspects. Significant aspects implies that the aspect causes a significant impact on the environment and measures have to be adopted in order to reduce or eliminate them. Non-significant aspect or non-significant implies that the said aspect does not cause any significant impact on the environment. PI depicts positive impact. A particular aspect that does not harm the environment and prevents resource depletion is called positive impact. The next column shows control strategies. Control strategy is the corrective and preventive measures that are taken by the industry to convert significant aspects to non-significant aspects, and these are to be mentioned in this column. The final column of the aspect impact table is action. Here, the steps that are taken to implement the strategies are to be mentioned. The next column shows significant or non-significant or PI. Here, significant depicts significant aspects. Significant aspects implies that the aspect causes a significant impact on the environment and measures have to be adopted in order to reduce or eliminate them. Non-significant aspect or non-significant implies that the said aspect does not cause any significant impact on the environment. PI depicts positive impact. A particular aspect that does not harm the environment and prevents resource depletion is called positive impact. The next column shows control strategies. Control strategy is the corrective and preventive measures that are taken by the industry to convert significant aspects to non-significant aspects, and these are to be mentioned in this column. The final column of the aspect impact table is action. Here, the steps that are taken to implement the strategies are to be mentioned. Moving on to the next slide, slide 12. These were some of the aspect impact analysis that was conducted during the course of the project work. The first one, operation, is ETP. The activity use of electrical equipment. This activity has two aspects: consumption of power and potential risk of short circuit. Consumption of power is a normal condition, that is, it is routine, and potential of risk of short circuit is an abnormal condition. The impact for consumption of power is resource depletion, and the impact for potential risk of short circuit is fire hazard. Moving on to the rating column, the rating for the aspect consumption of power is 2 for scale, 2 for severity, 4 for probability of occurrence, 2 for duration. Therefore, the rating comes up to 32, which is a non-significant aspect. Similarly, the rating for potential risk of short circuiting is 2 for severity, 2 for scale, 2 for probability of occurrence, 3 for duration. Therefore, the rating comes up to 24, which is also a non-significant aspect. The next operation is water tanks. The activity is maintenance of water tanks. This activity has two aspects: generation of wastewater and generation of solid waste, that is sludge. Both of these aspects are normal condition or routine conditions. The impact for generation of wastewater is water pollution, and the impact for generation of solid waste, that is sludge, is land contamination. The rating given for the aspect generation of wastewater is 2 on scale, 2 on severity, 3 on probability of occurrence, and 2 on duration. Therefore, a rating of 24, which is a non-significant aspect. The rating for generation of solid waste sludge is 2 for scale, 2 for severity, 2 for probability of occurrence, and 2 for duration. Therefore, a rating of 16, which is also a non-significant aspect. The next operation is packing and storage, and the activity for the same is use of packing materials. The aspect for this activity is reuse and recycle of the packaging material. This is considered as a normal condition or a routine condition for the industry. Therefore, the impact of this is resource conservation. Since it is resource conservation, there is no rating that is given to it. Therefore, it is considered as a positive impact. And the last operation is canteen, and the activity for these are food services and sanitation measures. Food service aspect is food sent to pig farm. This is a normal condition for this current industry, and the impact for this is resource conservation. Therefore, this is also a positive impact on the environment. The other activity for the same operation is sanitation measures. Sanitation measures has two aspects, namely paper towels and water. Paper towel and water both have normal condition, but the impact both of them cause are resource depletion. The rating therefore provided for paper towel are 2 for scale, 2 for severity, 4 for probability of occurrence, and 4 for duration. Therefore, a rating of 64 is calculated. Therefore, this is considered as a significant aspect as the rating is greater than 32. The other aspect is water, and the rating for water is 3 on scale, 3 for severity, 4 for probability of occurrence, and 2 for duration. Therefore, the rating is 72. Since the rating is greater than 30, this also is considered as a significant aspect. Therefore, these two significant aspects need to be converted to non-significant aspects by applying corrective and preventive measures.
Thank you, Vijeyta. So, my dear friends, this brings us to the end of this presentation. Slide number 13 depicts the references that have been listed by Vijeyta while preparing this presentation along with her friends. I would like to thank all the students and especially the team, Vijeyta, Chandana, Diksha and Zubaini, for having drafted this presentation and undertaken this exercise. This exercise is a part of an effort to enhance industry-academia interaction. I am sure that the knowledge that you have gained today is definitely beyond the restrictions of a syllabus or a curriculum of a university. Today's presentation has been infused with examples with respect to industrial relevance. I once again thank all the stakeholders who are part of this exercise. This is Dr. Rajesh Gopinath signing out. Godspeed.